gentlemen, welcome to the Psychosin project here on Total Metal Radio. Joining me over Skype, having just finished rehearsals for their upcoming tour, bit of a legend, the one and only Fernando, lead singer for the legendary band Moonspell. How you doing, mate?
I'm doing even better after this legendary introduction. Thank you so much.
No problem. Well, what else can I say, man? It's an absolute pleasure to be interviewing you. Now, are you looking forward to hitting the road again on this Road to Extinction tour you have coming up?
Definitely. I mean, we hit the roads immediately when the album came out, and we were touring quite heavily in 2015. And now it's just time, to do it again. And this time, it's great that we get, to play some UK dates, because it's been a while since we have done a proper tour.
Yeah.
Like you said, we just finished rehearsing, so we are being good boys, not to suck that much now when we are live on stage. But I think it's going to be definitely, I have a great feeling about this tour. The Road to Extinction tour has many places and many dates, and there's always this renewed energy whenever we set sail again. So definitely looking forward. It's what we do since '95, so it's even bizarre when we have too much of a break.
Well, I'm guessing sort of obviously having a fresh batch of songs from releasing a new album is always something to really get you going again as well for a new tour as well.
Yeah, I mean, they call it the touring cycle now, but, for me, there's much more than that on making a new album. And I think that it's great when we were just listening, to the new Anthrax and to the new Megadeth, and there's so many people like slacking now, bands making new albums. I always thought that, music is about creativity, so that's what comes first for most of the musicians, believe it or not, but it is. And it's great to have new albums, because besides that opportunity of touring again, of promoters being interested again, I think actually the last two or 3 years have been really good and really solid when it comes to metal releases.
Yeah.
And I think that it's catching up again. There was a period that was more meat and potatoes, I would say, but now it's catching up. People are setting the bar. Older bands, newer bands, higher, and I think that's great. I mean, there's a lot of touring. All the bands are like red ants running around the world right now, and there's a lot of competition. But I think that the metal scene is absorbing it right. Some nights will be bad, some nights will be good. But I'm happy when it comes to Moonspell and for the scene as well, that there's so much going on right now. Even in Portugal, I mean, it's hard now to keep up with the shows that come here every week. Believe me, it used to be like that in the 80s and the 90s.
Yeah. I mean, it was because I'll admit I'm not spectacularly old myself, but remember like the late 90s, I'd be very lucky here in the UK if I'd have more than one band coming through at the once a month. So I was a bit limited.
I remember the late 90s were the first time we actually played London and Bradford, and it was these crazy underground bills.
Yeah.
The Devil's Church, I think it was a kind of underground extreme metal clubbing, because they were always changing places, and it was great. It was one of the best experiences of our lives, and we played with great bands and met Cradle of Filth guys there as well. Good old underground days. It was actually like booming in the UK. Even when we got out of his flat, we were staying at Camden. Psy from Japan just came in, to play the other show. It was quite, an underground experience for everyone.
Who knows? Maybe we can get another bill like that happening again in the future. That'd be good.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, some bands that played at that time are coming back, like, for instance, Impale Nazarene. They're also part of the London Bill, which is, they haven't played that much live in the past few years that I know of. So it's good.
Now, you released the absolutely excellent Extinct album last year. How have you found the general reaction to it has been?
It's been very solid, Sometimes when we release any album, there's always a kind of a split reaction. We have important albums in the past, like Wolfart and New Religious, and that's kind of good for us, but kind of also very, very hard to fight against our own legacy in a way sometimes. But with Extinct, when we set to write it, we were quite oblivious about anything else from the past or anything else really. We were totally focused in making the album, and I think that paid off. I think people understood the message. It was more clear in a way. It was an album that definitely was its main, let's say, what we underlined was the musicality of the album. The way we tried to progress as musicians and songwriters while trying to maintain the Moonspell sound, while creating something original or at least fresher for our fans. And I think that worked. We were really even a bit amazed, not disappointed, obviously, that there was not much bitching being done. So
I'll be honest, I don't know how anyone could bitch about it, because to me there's not a single bad track on that album. So.
You never know. Now in the internet times, people will always find something to criticize or something to give an opinion with. And Extinct was kind of an album that's focused on the emotions that we would get from the fans, that emotional feedback. People saw there was a very personal and very private album to do, not a lot of stuff happening during those times, just some live shows, and then we came full force with Extinct. And I think I like all the songs, no fillers, which is an excellent feeling. We played the whole lot live, and obviously even if fans go there also for the old songs, they're really into the new songs, and that's I think any proof you need that it really got through in a solid way to the Moonspell crowd.
Yeah, I mean, with the Extinct album, I hope you don't mind me saying this, but I felt there was a very sort of strong, slightly almost 80s goth feel on there as well, with a little bit of a Nine Inch Nails influence on there, and some Depeche Mode definitely as well.
I don't mind at all. I mean, we've been flirting with this since long, and sometimes we got the heat of the metal scene for doing that, but we kind of didn't matter. We just pursued our path. I mean, I'm a big metal fan. I started listening to metal and rock, and then when I was in high school here in Portugal, I met some people, we call them the vanguards, or, and they were really into great stuff, like Sister Mercy, Fields of an Apple, and, Hotel Twins,
all the classics.
all the great 4AD Beggar's Banquet classic. And I mean, I was really in love for that music. For me, it brought kind of an elegance or darkness that metal bands didn't really have at that time. And then some other bands picked it up as well. I mean, when I listened to Blood Kiss for the first time from Type O Negative, especially from an American band, and we've been in America, and they don't have the same, how can I say, following or understanding of Gothic music and Gothic rock that we have now. I mean, bands like Skinny Pup and Nine Inch Nails are big there, but sometimes, or Depeche Mode, but sometimes they don't know Fields or Sisters Mercy, or Peter Murphy. So it's complicated sometimes to get through there. But it's definitely a big influence for us. It always has been. Yeah, I mean, I listen so much to metal as I listen to this dark wave and Gothic stuff. Yeah.
So do you feel this is the first album that all the influences have come together, maybe shine through a bit stronger than on any other album you've done so far?
I think nowadays we are old enough, and I always found these kind of bands, these Gothic bands, very mature, and for Sister Mercy, it took them a couple of albums. Maybe for us, it took us a little bit more, especially coming from metal, but I think it has to do also with the way that we listen to it so much and we perceive it so much, and it's still so important to us during the test of time, because we still, I mean, in the tour bus, we still listen to Fields of Nephilim and Earth Inferno, or quite often as we listen to when we're touring on Vans, on our tape, tape player. So that kind of never got away from us, as people listen daily to music, and obviously to also for people that who write music. So I think it's a little bit more out in the open. We really didn't want, because we didn't want to sound retro, We don't want to play by the same rules or the same sound as the 80s, because that's impossible. But we definitely wanted to take in our new songs the good things about that style. The deep vocals, the catchy choruses, the chameleons, guitars,
Yeah.
all of that. We really love that stuff, yeah. And I think it's actually, there's many fusions being done, but I think metal and goth really go well together.
Oh, definitely, definitely. I mean, you've proved it with Extinct, where you've got that really strong sort of gothic influence in there, while also adding the more aggressive nature to the vocals from metal nowadays. Um, Now, after being around for a fair while as a band, it's come up to about 23 years, I do believe. Have
Yeah.
you found that keeping each album and sound of the new albums has become more difficult?
Well, I think that I expected a little bit more difficulty when it comes to the creative part. I think some other things in the band get a little bit more difficult, like recovering from parties or concerts or never-ending tours. But I think that in writing stuff and composing and being together, making music, so to speak, it's something that became so important for us that we always look forward to do. And when you have this, let's say, will or this calling, let's say, inside you, it's much easier to deal with creative blocks or whatever might come our way. I think, for instance, Extinct was a good example. It's not that we were thinking about Extinct for a long time.
Yeah.
We just felt it was the need to make the album, and for 9 months in a row, we wrote that album almost on a daily basis, and recorded it in Sweden, etc. So we've been touring a lot right now, but also it's not that we are writing new stuff for a new album, but we have a good idea that we had in the past to do some more songs in Portuguese.
Yeah.
So we're writing some stuff that I'm going to sing in Portuguese. I hope it's not too weird. Let's see how it goes. And I mean, we're already writing and we already wrote some cool stuff together. So I think that we might have many problems, but I don't see this. Fortunately, I don't see this problem coming in the near future.
Well, in the end, if you don't try it, you don't know if it's going to work, do you? So
Yeah, you have to force the inspiration as well. Sometimes it doesn't work at all. I mean, you just come here and you just watch YouTube videos, and mingle. That's important as well,
Yeah.
to be with the band, not just on the road where everybody's tired and probably minding their own business. But also here that we have a studio in Lisbon, we spend a lot of time here, just managing the band and doing all kinds of administration work, but also keeping the artistic part alive in a way. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you like go to if you get a girlfriend in Brazil and go there for 6 months, it's normally that your band will stop for a while. That doesn't happen with Moonspell. We still live like pretty nearby each other here in Portugal.
Now, of all the albums that you've released so far as Moonspell, which is the one you are most proud of to this date?
Well, I mean, I could go the easy way and say Extinct because I'm really proud of that album and everybody is in Moonspell. But I think 2016 it's an important day for us because it's the 20th anniversary of our Irreligious album.
Yeah.
And even though Wolfheart was such an important album for us because it was our debut, our first album, I think with Irreligious we got more in control of our sound, what we wanted to do. And we let out in the open more the gothic part, and also it was an album that kind of watched our transition from, angry wolf boys into something a little bit more adult and mature.
Yeah.
We started living from music and touring non-stop.
So it was more the album where the Moonspell sound really solidified.
I think so. I mean, that's Wolfheart. It's an album that was so diverse that we definitely still draw from a lot of things that were presented on that album. But I think with the Religious, we reached a point. There was always a big discussion with Moonspell since under the Moonspell and Wolfheart. Was that sometimes we thought we were sounding all over the place, and Irreligious songs were like the very first songs that we thought really worked as songs. Opium, Full Moon Madness, Mephisto, and I mean it was also our breakthrough. People definitely took us a lot more seriously when we released this album our label, Century Media, everyone was not just the band, the weird band from Portugal, but someone who had the chance probably in the scene. So I think I'll definitely, especially because it's 20 years since we have recorded and released it, I think Irreligious is the album that makes me more proud.
So you mentioned it was 20-year anniversary this year of Irreligious. Yep. Are there any plans to maybe play the whole album live on a future tour?
Well, I mean, we kind of suck at that kind of, remembering to celebrate our legacy and our past. And it seems like we're always making new albums and new tours. It happened the same last year with Wolfart. But here and there, we were able to play some full Irreligious sets. We did it just now in one of the sets that we played at Metal Cruise at the 70,000 Tons of Metal.
Oh yeah.
And it was crazy. The atmosphere was really great. I mean, it was like a big traveling time for everyone that was there, because we played the whole songs for ordering the album. So we liked it so much that we definitely would like to repeat it. We're still touring for Extinct, but we definitely rehearsed a lot of Irreligious songs as well to play here and there on this tour. And I mean, the schedule is getting crazy again for the year, but we definitely will make some shows that we'll play every song from Irreligious, even songs like A Poison Gift that we played on the cruise, and I think we haven't played it for over 15 years, maybe 20, because it was never a song that we played that often live when we were touring for Irreligious back then.
Now, talking about your live show, what can people who haven't seen you live yet, unfortunately including myself there, what can they expect from a live show?
Well, we tried, to live up to the message of the album and to create something that is theatrical and emotional and that connects with the crowd. You know, and this has a little bit to do with everything. I mean, we are bringing our small, modest, but full production. It's not like we are touring, the UK and not bringing anything like we do in Europe. So that will be a Moonspell or full show, definitely to the best of our abilities, considering, we cannot take a tank or something like that, or a draw car. We're not on that league. But on the other hand, for the repertoire, of course, there will be a lot of time traveling, especially, for instance, we are playing for the first time in Dublin. So actually people never saw us there. So that kind of counts as well when we get to make the set list, the final set list. That will change here and there in shows. So I mean, I think the best, and I think everybody says, it's just to witness for the first time. I think that we always proved ourselves, and we always got fans by playing live. It was not like Wolfart was out and everybody, like in Germany, was running to the shops. Hey, this new Moonspell album. No, we had to do our tour first. Same for the UK. I mean, we played a couple of shows in London, Bradford, some other cities then. And so playing live has always been kind of the decisive factor for, for us being a keeper or a goer for the fans.
Yeah. Now, how would you yourself describe the sound of the band these days?
Well, I think we come very close to a dark metal. Sometimes it's in the 90s in Portugal. We had this expression when we had a more rock, heavy kind of stuff, like the hard and heavy. But I think we kind of fall in between, and probably we are doing what's the gothic metal. Because nowadays, since we heard first from this label, and since the people start calling us and many other bands like this, the gothic metal always evolved much more to being like female fronted or having two singers. We kept it a little bit more of an older fashioned structure. It's still just guys and singing deep with these arrangements. So I think, especially with Extinct, I'm quite comfortable with the gothic metal or dark metal. I say label because I mean, some people probably think gothic metal is something else, but for me it's much more about this still, with metal roots and riffs and headbanging parts. It's called this way, but with a lot of dark, clouded atmosphere, lots of keyboards, lots of vocal delays and guitar delays. Yeah, I think that's pretty much, in a nutshell, our sound.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much the best way to describe Moonspell is indeed gothic metal or dark metal, as you said. Now, what are the plans for the future of the band moving on?
Well, I mean, intensive touring. I mean, there's even though 2015 was quite intense, 2016 is shaping up. We've already been in the States with Epica, and now it's our tours. And then after this tour, we go east.
Yeah.
And summer festivals as well, and we are recording a new DVD.
Okay.
That's probably going to be released just in 2017. We're trying to make something interesting. We're going to record it here in Portugal, and always, we always keep in mind, and our fans know that whenever we think about the DVD, just because of the sake of being different, but we try to probably add something like we did with the commentary on the Extinct CD. So there'll be something like this as well, the show, but something else.
Yeah.
And in the last, in the second half of 2016, more tour coming, other continents coming as well. So we're pretty much booked or will be booked up to December, where we take a little break and probably next year release the DVD and go on the road again while start thinking about new ideas. I think they'll be hitching by the time. Yeah.
By a little break, do you mean about 2 days, Dane, the way you work? Now, finally, is there anything you'd like to say to all your fans out there?
Well, I just would like to place the call to the wolf pack. It's been a while since we've been in the UK, and people are always telling us that we should come, so we are coming. And hopefully our fans as well. So, we've toured a lot, but we always like new challenges, and playing the UK is always a challenge for many bands.
Yeah.
But I think what it counts in the end of the day is what you will pass to people that will actually attending the show. And I think that in that aspect we're doing a good job, because in every place, every circumstances, good nights or bad nights, people were really happy about what they witnessed, and I think that's what's been keeping us together in the eye of the hurricane, a little bit in the shadows. It doesn't matter. I think that's this satisfaction that we bring to our fans. It's quite meaningful for them, and obviously for us, and that's why we tour as well, not just to get rid of our family lives.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, their newest album, Extinct, is out now. If you haven't gone and check it out. Go check it out. It was one of my albums of 2015. And Fernando, thank you for joining me tonight.
No problem, my pleasure.
Okay, thank you very much.